Welcome to question 4 from revision sheet 1. So, question 4 looks for us to solve two simultaneous equations using the inverse matrices. I'll show you how to do this by hand, and then I'll show you how to do it on the calculator as well. So, the way that we can represent simultaneous equations using matrices is to have some matrix times by the xy matrix equal the matrix 6 minus 5. From the answers to our simultaneous equations. The way that we form the first matrix that we've missed out here is to use the coefficients on the x and the y terms in our equations. So here, nice and simply, it goes 7, 3, from the 7x add the 3y, and minus 5 times minus 2. And this gives us our starting point. Now, what we want to do is we want to effectively get rid of this matrix at the front here to leave us just with the xy equals the two answers that we'll need for x and y. Now with matrices we can't divide by this matrix here like we would if it was 2x equals 6. So what we have to do is we have to times by the inverse of this matrix on both sides. Let me show this down written for you. Let's call this matrix A, this matrix capital X, and this matrix here B. If I have AX equals B, then the way that I can get rid of the A is to pre-multiply by the inverse of A. If I've done that on the left, I need to do it on the right as well. Making sure that I do it pre-multiplying, that referring to the fact I have to multiply at the front of both of my expressions. This way, A inverse times A will cancel out, and I'll just be left with x equals A inverse B. So, all that's left for me to do is to find the inverse of our matrix A and pre-multiply that by the matrix for B. So, in finding an inverse, the first thing I need to do is to work out the determinant. And the way I do that is AD minus BC. So A times D, the top left and the bottom right, that's minus 14. And in the takeaway, minus 5 times 3, that's minus 15. So here that's going to be a double negative, so that'll make it a positive 15. 15 take away 14 is 1. Now I can find the inverse. So it's going to be 1 over the determinant, which was 1. So that won't really affect things. Now what I need to do here is I need to swap over the 7 and the minus 2. So it'll be minus 2 here and 7 down in the bottom right. And negate the 3 and the minus 5. So it's going to become a minus 3 and now a positive 5, changing the sign on both of them. So all that's left for me to find out now is my answer, the matrix X. X was representing the vector x, y, and I'll calculate this by multiplying minus 2 minus 3, 5, 7, times by the B matrix 6 minus 5. So this will give me minus 2 times 6 is minus 12, add minus 3 times minus 5 is plus 15. That will give me a first answer of 3, so my letter X is the number 3. And for the bottom one, 5 times 6 is 30. Add 7 times minus 5 is minus 35. Simplifying this, I'll get a minus 5. So my bottom value, Y, here corresponds to the minus 5 here. So Y equals minus 5. Now let me show you how to do this on a calculator. First of all, get your calculator, select the setup mode or menu mode, and select option 4 for matrices. The next thing you need to do is to select matrix A and define matrix A. Now you'll need to select the dimensions first, select 2 by 2, and then enter the cells into your matrix. Once you've done that, click AC to clear it, and then you'll have to edit another matrix to form this matrix B up here. So what you need to do here is you need to select on option, and then we need to edit the matrix, so we need to select option number 2, and then we need to edit matrix B, so we'll select option 2 again. You'll have to select the dimensions here. It's a 2 by 1 matrix, and then enter the values of 6 minus 5. Once you've done that, click AC to clear the screen. And now we need to enter this part of the equation here. We need to invert the matrix A and then times it by matrix B. So to recall these matrices, you can't unfortunately use these red letters. I've tried that, it doesn't work. You need to select option and then select matrix A, so select option number 3. And then you need to invert this. Now the way you invert a matrix is just to use this power of -1 button that's on your calculator I'm highlighting here. So you need to invert the matrix and then multiply that by the matrix B. Now we'll have to go back into options for this. Select option number 4 for matrix B and then press enter. And what you get here is your answer. 3 minus 5 is our answer for the value x, and our minus 5 is the value for -5. 2 marks.